Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon and my other channel, Flat Earth Homeland. It's been about 3 weeks since I put up a video, and I just wanted to do an update for my subscribers. And when I say subscribers, I'm addressing those of you who are subscribed to me and who care. Because there's a lot of people that subscribe just for information, and they seem to just, they want everything perfect. I'm not perfect. I am a researcher. I have been very gifted at that. I've been very blessed at that. I have spent countless nights, all night long, studying, putting pieces together, pieces of puzzles, how to make things, how to build things. I mean, literally 1,000 times in probably the last few years. I've walked in the house so dead tired I could sit on the chair, fall off the chair, and sleep on the concrete floor. And once I turned that computer on, a lot of those nights, I usually, when I saw the sunlight starting to come up, the sun starting to come up, I would try to get to sleep by then. A lot of times I would, not a lot of times, but I mean, dozen times or so, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So I'd been at it for 10, 12 hours. And have to go to bed. Well, I've been doing that for a lot of years, 16, 17 years. And I paid a price for it. I had a heart attack and 3 stents put in and trying to recuperate. So I've been sleeping at night instead of studying. Trying to get to sleep before midnight because it's like a much better sleep because of the circadian rhythm and whatnot, the hormones. I'm just talking. I've got some notes, but like I said, if you're subscribed to me for Air Crete, that's great. I mean, it is very important to me. Had a lot of curves thrown. The foam generator is gone. The person that owned it was very upset that I made those last videos. And so I'm going to make a foam lance and hook it up to a 2-gallon water fire extinguisher and make a pneumatic foam generator. If you do your research, and I did start a Yahoo group called All Things Air Crete, in which I want to cover everything. And I mean everything, but when do I have time to do it, foam generators, foaming agents, release agents for molds, block molds for making aircrete blocks, molds for making domes, fiberglass molds for making domes specifically, so that you can just clamp. Here's your inside, okay? Clamp it from the inside, clamp, 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 clamp. Triangular sections. Got an inside mold form dome. Outside, okay? Clamp from the outside, clamp, 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 clamp. Triangular sections, 3-inch thick, 4-inch thick, 6-inch thick walls. I figure 6 inch, 8 inches probably. Make a dome, pour it 2 feet a day, let it cure, pour it, you put in hardener, whatever, basalt fiber, all that. I'm getting off on that, but aircrete is very important because I want to go back to the main thing that I've been looking for the last 17 years is a way to build the home that I saw in a vision 17 years ago. Read my book. It's a free PDF download on lulu.com, Lulu.com. Jeremiah Elliott, 2 L's, 2 T's, Elliott. That was my pen name back there, my nom de guerre. I didn't know anything about the internet in 2001. So that book is free, but the home that I saw in my vision, this was with my eyes open. I was sitting up. I was not asleep. I was not dreaming. I suddenly saw this young couple coming through the woods toward me, one holding a boy, one holding a girl's hand. Anyway, the home that I saw had been built for whoever got there first, and they were the ones that got there first. It was their home. I knew that in the dream. I knew that there were people building homes ahead of time for refugees coming into the area. I didn't even know what the area was, but I knew that that was happening. That's what I knew. It tore me up. Chest heaving, gut wrenching, heart rending sobs for about an hour. But the importance of that is this, and that is that I've said this before. I've got a video on it. Watch it. Survival is a rule of threes. If you suddenly find yourself in a situation, a survival situation, airplane crash, car wreck, winter, desert, whatever, within 3 hours, you need shelter. Some people start worrying about eating. Within 3 weeks, you need food. You're technically, this is a rule of thumb, ballpark rule of thumb. You're not going to starve to death for most people. Most Americans are not going to starve to death for 3 weeks. Within 3 days, you need water. You're going to dehydrate within 3 days if you don't have water, obviously, especially in the desert, but winter, summer, year-round, you need water. Your brain's going to start getting fried within 3 days. But within 3 hours, you need shelter. Winter, summer. So there are climates where, you don't need shelter at all, blah, blah, blah. But, rule of thumb is, we need shelter from the elements. And if you're in a survival situation, inclement weather of any kind, wet, people don't freeze to death in the Rockies. They have hypothermia. Hypothermia can happen at 40 degrees with a little bit of wind. So within 3 hours, you need shelter. And so shelter is critical. Building homes is critical. I've known that for many years. Took survival, hunter safety with Papa Bear Whitmore. Watch my video on him. He was the Mountain Man Advisor and Survival Expert, Wise Wilderness Institute of Survival Education. He was the Mountain Man Advisor for the movie Jeremiah Johnson. They built 3 completely authentic Hawken rifles. Robert Redford got one. The director, I believe Robert Zemeckis got one. And Papa Bear got one. When I took the course for the second time at his home with my wife and my 2 oldest children, he said, handle any of the guns here. He says, that's the rifle that I got at the Jeremiah Johnson movie. I held that thing in my hands. Completely authentic parts, every single part, made from an authentic, original Hawken rifle. So, I'm just rambling, I know, but I've got notes and I wanted to just cover some things. So, again, man, if for those of you that care about anything, care about the message I've been trying to get out, you can see where this is going. I'm tired. I'm also kind of fed up with a lot of things, a lot of people. Tired of that. Tired of, being made promises or expecting somebody to be thankful for something I've done for them, which is a lot. My back's got a lot of knife holes in it. Kind of really tired of that. Children, grandchildren, friends, people that were friends, turncoats, backstabbers. Anyway, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I made that decision and that promise to the Most High God many years ago. If there's nobody else that's going to handle this thing, I'm going to do it. I'll do it to the best of my ability. Problem is, I don't have a whole lot of ability, and I've done what I can do. I have tried to cover probably literally 2,000 different subjects. This goes back to when I was just, all I knew was to do emails. I made rocket stoves, geodesic domes, food preservation, food production. I would do extensive emails with, links, hot links. That's all in the past now. I can maybe dig them up, resuscitate them, and then I wrote on a lot of forums, a lot of groups, like Yahoo groups starting out. That's all I knew. That expanded, and I thought, as long as I'm writing to 20 people, I could be writing to 200 people. Boom. As long as I'm sending this out to 200 people, I could send it out to 20,000 people. Did more groups. As long as I'm sending it out to 20,000 people, I could be, sending out to 200,000. Well, not there yet, but, But I got onto a couple big forums, alternate market, alt market is called, based out of kind of Montana. 2 people contacted me through that forum and moved here. One lives within 4. I could shoot an arrow and hit the farm that he bought from my family's farm. Another lady is just 3 miles down the road. Got here on Wednesday, bought a farm on beautiful place on Friday. Another family recently, she was a YouTuber. Another family just moved in Monday. And that's, I've been busy with that. That's kept me going, just keeping in touch with them on the drive here and finding them help last minute. Oh, by the way, we need help unloading. Oh, well, and I understand. They're pushing. I'm not blaming them at all. I was happy to do it. Managed to get them some good help. 3 people showed up. One being my daughter-in-law, great help. She actually took me over there. 15 minutes away. I don't know. I think I could probably get there in 10 minutes. Haven't driven it back road, but I want to do that someday. So another farm occupied by good people. Some other YouTubers just, within walking distance. This one's within walking distance, but it's got to go a long way around if you're going to drive. But through the forest, it might be a 5-hour hike and a 5-minute drive the long way around. But a few mountain lions and bears, or who knows what, all along the way. But private property in between. But anyway, so more and more people moving in. A person from downtown Texas selling a condo, another person from East Coast selling a house. They want to get together and buy land. That is critical. We have to somehow have a place where we can have soft landing places. Now, there's little tiny houses, whether they be aircrete domes or aircrete block houses or cob or cordwood or one of everything, a teepee. I don't care, shelter for people. So when they get here, they have a place to stay for a while till they get their feet on the ground. Shelter. I bought a trailer, a camper trailer. I'm buying a camper trailer. This is one thing I want to get off of my plate. So if anybody's interested, let me know. $1,800, $600 down, $100 a month, 12 months, $1,800 total. I've got $800 of it paid off. I would be willing to, have someone take over payments and, get me. Some of the money was borrowed, so I need to get it. I want to get it paid back. But I wouldn't mind taking out of $800, get 16, maybe 15 out of that, just to get it off my hands, where I know the money's coming in, or somebody can say, hey, I will pay it forward. I'll send you $100 a month, make that payment, just get that off. Because I don't have the money coming in. I don't have any money coming in. Whoever's listened to me for any length of time understands the situation. Probably not. I don't know if anybody understands my situation. You know, I ordered my life so that we could get out. I wanted to get out of the city, and so I didn't ever get a real job. Always did sales or some service, janitorial work, carpet cleaning, self-employed, construction, whatever. Weekly paycheck. That's all I ever got. No retirement, no 401k, no CD, no savings, no nothing, no insurance. Repeat myself. Loop, loop, loop. Anyway, and it worked. We got out. Okay. And when we moved out of Denver, I had nothing. I mean, I had my last paycheck, and I spent that on U-Haul. So I had no job. Got out to Kansas, and Buddy said, take a couple months off. I know you've been killing yourself. So I did. I took a couple months off, and about 3 months, went by, and go get a freaking job, So I went to work with him, $6 an hour, something like that. I thought there would be a shock moving from Denver about losing the Rockies, the mountains and the nature, but nah, I could walk out of town in 2 minutes and be in nature. The shock was the emotional thing of okay, I made up the $200 an hour in Denver, and I'm like, $5 an hour, So that was the shock. But from that time to this, we came down here to Missouri and had nothing again. All Things in Common Community. And in case anybody's thinking of joining an All Things in Common Community or any kind of community, just understand that whoever owns the land is your owner. They own everything. All Things in Common means what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine. At least in reference to time, every Sunday was Community Work Day. Did Saturday Sabbath, Community Work Day on Sunday. And notice that Community Work Day always meant go work for the owner. Always. Never was there a work day at our place. So anyway, and I'm not complaining. It's just that's kind of the way it is. I mean, whether you have a guy that owns 160 acres or owns 10 acres or whatever, if you're going to live on their land, you're going to be their servant, if you want to look at it that way. The other part of it is that you should never, ever, ever consider building a home on somebody else's land. That's been proven over and over again. So when we were in between, when we were done with that community for a year, and then we were looking at building a house on somebody else's land, and this one guy got in touch with us, and he said, look, don't ever do that. He says, even if you pay twice as much for the land that you're thinking about getting, still when you're done paying for it, it's yours. So, and he introduced it to a real estate agent that had a property for sale. We bought it, paid it off in less than 1 year. 10-acre farm, 1 year, $20,000, boom, done, 1 year. So now we own 40 acres of that. What might have been an original 40-acre or might have been an 80-acre farm, but we own 40 acres there now. My son owns 30 acres over here that I'm living on, and another family member bought and paid cash for a 50-acre farm. So basically we have 120 acres now. My family, as head of my house, biblically, as patriarch of my family, biblically, I own 70 acres. Now, they don't think I own anything. I'm homeless to them, but that's not on my head, that's on their head. So anyway, and what goes around comes around, unfortunately, for a lot of people. So I will say this at the what we termed the first International Goshen Builders Conference, and it was international. Michael Peebles, Pastor Michael Peebles from Dogwood, Missouri, I considered him to be the main speaker. I would like to have heard him speak for 8 hours that day, but unfortunately a couple other young bucks got their time in. I was his first speaker, and I did what I could with what limited resources and, software not working and computer not working and all that good stuff. Interfacing properly. I did what I could do to present the OzArk Plateau refugium. I looked that word up. I'm not going to go into it. Refugium. It is a place where when everything else around it is extinct, it is capable of sustaining a species or a group of species, and that's what this region will be. Okay. So Michael Peebles made the statement there, just was, to me, was awesomely impressive because I have been living it. And he said this: everything that happened to Messiah, and everything that happened to King David, and everything that happened to Joseph is happening right now in the lives of those whom Yahweh has chosen to lead his people. So I'm just saying, been there. You know, I have not where to lay my head. I have been put outside the camp. I have, just so many things. One person said, "Well, you've been studying Scripture," and I'm like, "I've been living. That if a man see a brother in need and giveth it not, to him it is murder." Because this one guy did that to me, a former brother. I said this in the 6 month after the divorce. I came closer to dying more times than I have in the first 6 decades of my life. A lot more. So it's been tough. It's been interesting. It's been fascinating. It's been, fun in the sense of, seeing miracles happen and just timing, and just continue to see the increasing plan of, the Father coming together. Yeah. If you haven't watched the videos, just another plug for a video there. Michael Peebles, I think there's 3 videos, maybe 4, of him, his talk, and it was a group he wasn't familiar with. He didn't get into super heavy stuff, but I'll tell you what, so the things that he did were just phenomenal, especially the question I asked him. Huh. He finished. That was the only question anybody asked him. I asked him that question. He answered. Blew me away. I would have liked to have heard another 3 hours from him, but everybody just started talking, and finally he was standing up there and he goes like, "You know what? I'm going to go sit down." I was floored at the whatever, ignorance, callousness, just a lack of. Everybody want to talk about themselves, and rather than pick his brain. And like I said, it was a light touch. I knew him from another meeting, and I've heard him speak quite a few times, but I did not know how the depth of his thought and his forward-looking strategic vision until the meeting prior to this one. It took him a while to get going, and then all of a sudden I just burst out with, "Where did you come from?" And when he was done, I said to a couple of people, one being my son and one being the guys whose house it was at, but I made the statement to both of them. I said, "That is the first man I've ever talked to that has a brain." So obviously they didn't take that terribly well, but what the hell ever. All right, so let me check my notes here. So I've covered a lot of things over the years, topics. YouTube. Look at my YouTube playlists. Those are in the very recent past that I started doing them. At the time at which I hit flat Earth stuff, researching that, and from that time I have over 250 flat Earth playlists. But prior to that, I had, I think, 322 playlists, and I've got more since. So let's say I have 350 playlists, and you can look at those to get an idea of the breadth of. I have like 15 different rocket stove playlists. Small ones, cooking ones, heating ones, rocket mass thermal heaters, ovens, just to try to categorically, systematically handle the research and make it easy for people to access information on, like I said, 1,000, maybe 2,000 different topics. So, water, how to pump water, how to, purify water, you name it, how to, grow food, how to store it, the most important types of food storage, on and on and on. Spring house, smokehouse, dehydration, pulse, biblical, Daniel chapter 1 and 2, pulse, look it up. I can tell you how to make it. The thing of it is, and on food storage, the thing that I have in my poem, in my book, meat on the hoof and crops in the ground. Oh man, battery is going low. Okay, I'm going to need to wrap this up. Meat on the hoof, crops in the ground. Your best form of food storage is live. Grow food. There's no amount of storage food that we can do that will get us through this whole thing. So basically what I'm coming down to is, my health is not, I'm trying to rebuild my health. I'm not going to be doing as much. The trailer, I'd like to get that last, what is it, $1,000? Yeah, $1,000 off of my mind. If someone wants to buy it, pay it ahead. Part of it is a loan from a person who came and visited, left me some money for a trailer for him or whoever, if he ever got back, or somebody, and so part of that money went to that trailer. I never heard from him again. So I will say this, the scriptures say this. If a man puts his hand to the plow and turns back, he's not worthy, not fit for the kingdom of God. This man came out here, packed everything in his car, came out here to stay here and help me. He read my book. He said, I get it. I understand you. He said, I believe in you, which that was a very, emotionally, first time I ever heard that. So I heard it. He went back. I never heard from him again. I'm figure, well, he may not be around anymore. He came out, put his hand to the plow, and went back home to mommy and daddy to take care of him. But still he went back home, not intending to. They understood he was leaving and not coming back. Well, he went back anyway. So some things like that. Patreon. I have someone who has said they know how to do that and set it up and get me going on that. I need some help. Basically, I have had so many promises of help. I say if I had $100, for every time somebody offered me to come out and help me, I would be a millionaire. And I'm tired. I'm just flat tired. I'm also, like I said, pretty disgusted with a lot of things. Have somebody come out. I put weeks of worth of cleaning the land up there, cutting brush, weed whacking, making letting the flowers grow and keeping the other stuff down and burning wood off and cleaning the area so I can get another trader in there. Lo and behold, the trader comes to my ability to buy. I do it. I bring it in. I park it, make it nice, make it pretty. Somebody comes in and lives in it, and no problem. I even offered to sell it to them. And could you do this? No. Could you do this? No. Could you do this? No. You do that. Like I've already put in like 100 hours cleaning this place up. Nope, not going to do that. Not going to do that. Not going to do that. And telling me to clean this up and clean this up. Well, anyway, and it's a friend, and they've helped me, and I'm not complaining, but doesn't mean I wasn't like you're kidding me, a little bit of help would be nice. And I made the statement. I said, look,